This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local. It's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being presented to you by Marv's Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. Remember, Marv's on the job 24/7, so don't hesitate. Give them a call. They'll be there to take care of whatever is the problem inside your casa. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Paisan cuisine, always at its best and always fresh, always delicious. Joe and the gang invite you to come on by for some hot pizza. How about some stromboli, calzones, or maybe you want to do a hot or cold sandwich. It's always on fresh baked bread over at Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Right now at First Tier Bank, they are offering a great rate on a 27-month CD. How about 3.1% interest, annual percentage yield? Yeah, on a 27-month CD. Talk with the great folks over at First Tier Bank today, open Monday through Friday. 1508 Stillwater Avenue, across from Mondello's Pizzeria. Lennox Auto Body, ×2. Again, serving our area for a quarter century, founded by Dick Lennox. And, of course, Heather Lennox taking over for Pops and doing a marvelous job as well, keeping that family tradition alive. Lennox Auto Body with the main auto and truck repair center on Dunn Avenue. And the Auto Glass and Detail Center hooked up on Pershing Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy, for all your pharmaceutical needs. See Gene and the wonderful staff, and I do mean wonderful staff. They've been with them for a long time. They're over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank with 2 banking locations. Again, today's banking technology with yesteryear banking as well. And I mean good old-fashioned customer service and everything in between, because Platte Valley Bank offers a plethora of services. Located on Vanda High Avenue, the original location, and the east side location, you'll find them over at the corner of College and Pershing. Kia of Cheyenne. How about the 19 model year from Kia? And they've got some good-looking Kias out there, including the new Telluride. Oh, yeah, you're looking for an SUV? Kia of Cheyenne goes above and beyond with the new Telluride. Talk with AJ and the great staff today over at Kia of Cheyenne on Nationway. Chick-fil-A over at the corner of Windmill and Del Range. I was talking with my good friend Cindy earlier today over at Chick-fil-A, and again, right across from Menards. We're getting towards that season where, it's getting a little warmer, or, you're setting up for graduations forthcoming. Remember, go to CheyenneChicken.com, because Chick-fil-A comes to your place and puts out a spread. They put out a great catering service. And again, in addition to joining them for 3 Squares Monday through Saturday, they offer so much more at Chick-fil-A of Cheyenne. Corner of Windmill and Del Range. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jayco RVs, fifth wheels, travel trailers, and there's a plethora on the lot right now, and you're going to find some great savings and special financing rates. We also want to thank Taco John's, where the menu is loaded with delicious cuisine that you are going to enjoy. Everything that you can possibly want at Taco John's is available today, including that 6-pack and a pound that you can take home. Taco John's of Cheyenne. And we get things underway. Our scoreboard is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne with Nick.
Passing along information regarding Post 6 as we did yesterday, but do want to remind folks coming up this weekend for the Post 6 Sixers. Again, Friday will be the opening contest for Cheyenne Post 6, Friday at at least 6 p.m., as they will host Laramie over at Powers Field. Again, that game was set for Sunday at 3, instead has been moved to Friday at 6 p.m. NHL action for tonight. You will see the Toronto Maple Leafs at home. They will host the Boston Bruins. That can be seen on NBC Sports Network. Toronto leads that series 2-1. Dallas Stars at American Airlines Center will take on the Nashville Predators. Preds at least lead that series 2-1. And last but not least, the Colorado Avalanche down at the Pepsi Center. They will host the Calgary Flames as the Avs lead that series 2-1. And you can see that game on NBC Sports Network. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
Major League Baseball, games that are going on right now. It's getaway day at Chicago at Guaranteed Rate Field, where the White Sox and the Royals are battling. 3-2 in favor of Kansas City, top of the eighth. Going to the bottom of the seventh at Chavez Ravine, Dodgers leading the Reds 3-1. Finals that are in, Phils have beaten the Mets at Citizens Bank Park 3-2 this afternoon, and the Cardinals double up the Brew Crew at Miller Park 6-3. Getting underway when we are still on the air, it'll be the Red Sox at the Yankees. Indians will take on the M's at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. Pirates and the Motor City Kitties at Comerica in Motown. 5 o'clock games. Giants and the Nats once again at Nationals Park. It will be the Orioles and the Rays. Cubs and the Marlins at Marlins Park. D-backs and the Bravos at SunTrust Park. Also in the 5 o'clock hour, have the Blue Jays at the Twins at Target Field. 6 o'clock hour, Angels and the Rangers from Global Life Park in Arlington. And the late night contest from the Oakland Coliseum, the Athletics will entertain the Houston Astros. And we move on to the NBA schedule for this evening. It will be Game 2 with the Pacers and the Celtics from the TD Garden, with the Celtics leading 1-0. It will be the Pistons and the Bucks, as they will be in the Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee, as Milwaukee holds a 1-0 lead over the Motowners. And the Rockets in the Toyota Center, they have a date with the Utah Jazz in the Toyota Center, and Houston leads 1-0. Scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, with our guest today, it's hoop-themed, as we will have head coach of the UW Cowboys, Alan Edwards, join us here in roughly maybe less than a half hour, as today was signing day, commitment day at UW, and we'll have Jason Ficca join us in the 4 o'clock hour, find out where he's at. You know, talk about going after recruits right now, Nick, and again, how many D1 colleges are over 300 of them. And
well, again, you're at the bottom of where, yes, you have to look at the D1s, D2s, whoever, again, of the 4-year schools, and then, again, you kind of pick, you pick, other JUCOs, whether it is those top 25, especially here in Region 9. So, again, just get his thoughts on just everything. Also, to talk about what's happening in Region 9, where we did have some movement, at least regarding men's basketball, especially with Sheridan College. Matt Hammer, former head coach of the Sheridan Generals, is now going to sign on with CSU Pueblo, so he'll join the ranks of Austin Albers as Region 9 coaches that have moved down south there to Pueblo to at least head coach out there. So, again, get his thoughts on everything, again, with Alan Edwards, get his thoughts on just the signees, but also, too, again, as we've been trying to throughout for about a month and a half now, trying to get him on to get his thoughts of just the season that was, and also, too, looking towards at least what is 2019-2020 for the Wyoming Cowboys and what changes are going to happen with this team.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have his thoughts on what's out there right now for UW, what he's looking for, a reflection back on this season. And again, too, the guy comes off 2 20-win seasons, has that anomaly year where they win only 8 games, and then everybody wants his head.
Well, so, again, you're not losing a lot of pieces so far. Again, a few seniors. You did have one, at least Trace Young did transfer out, or at least has removed himself from the program. So there is that. But 3 signees, 2 of them were today, but 3 signed recruits so far for the Wyoming Cowboys. Do believe that they do have 2 scholarships remaining. So we'll see what happens with Coach Alan Edwards and where at least other, at least uncommitted recruits happen to fall for the Wyoming Cowboys, but that will be soon to set, at least soon to figure out for the Wyoming Cowboys. But on the same vein with basketball news here in the state of Wyoming, something that just kind of broke a few hours ago, something that we saw at least broke from David Watson over there in Laramie, but Laramie, at least with the boys basketball program, head coach did leave that program, so they were looking for a head coach. Well, they have found it. It didn't take them too long to find it, so it's going to actually be former Cheyenne South head coach, assistant under Cheyenne Central boys basketball under Tag Lane. It will be Jim Schaefer will be your new head coach for the Laramie Plainsmen coming up for boys basketball this season. So, again, going from the head coaching position at Cheyenne South, assistant last year with Central, and now moving across the range to Laramie to coach.
Does that mean he's going to go teach over at Laramie too? Or
understanding is he's going to teach here in the city of Cheyenne still. So he's going to commute. So and head coach for Laramie. So interested to see how that is. It's something we talked off air about this situation where our understanding from Jim Schaefer, and again, not to put at least words in his mouth, but our understanding was he was kind of at that point to not yet just retire, but kind of ease back on the head coaching role.
Take his take the foot off the pedal a little bit.
Which is why he was, at least with Central, doing the assistant thing of just kind of still within the game, but not taking on that big-time role. But now he's back in the prime seat over there in Laramie for a Plainsman team that's,
it needs some
retooling,
rejuvenation, absolutely.
And certainly Jim Schaefer can do that. He did it with the boys program at Cheyenne South, got him to a state tournament appearance, and it could be able to do that with Laramie. Only time will tell, but just an interesting move here in the state of Wyoming in Class 4A, especially here in the southeastern quadrant, where three, at least for the Cheyenne teams, you got a familiar face now as a head coach on your boys' side.
And if it's a Jim Schaefer-led team that I remember when he was a head coach at South, it's going to be a very aggressive team where they're going to push it up and down the floor, and they're going to be in your face defensively. So this might be a different Laramie look coming up next season. Also, from Laramie yesterday, if you did not hear, and again, I'm not going to bring Coach Edwards into this because for the incident itself,
yeah,
he was given the heave-ho off the basketball program.
He was suspended.
Yeah, and he lost his senior year. I don't know if he has a year eligible left to play.
Well, it was something that I talked with you. We could certainly ask Edwards about that, of where at least does he have playing time still left available if that coaching staff decides on it, the university decides on it. Does he still have time, according to the NCAA, to finish out that senior year that he missed out there for the University of Wyoming?
Well, and it says here he was last year being the senior. He started the first 9 games before being suspended.
And I don't think we've announced who it is.
Yeah, well, we'll get to him here. Again, this is Nia Redding, who he was suspended indefinitely after the Laramie Police Department cited Redding for disorderly conduct and inciting a fight during an altercation at Roxy's on Grand in the wee hours of December 9th. But Nia Redding, yesterday, a 6-person jury actually found him not guilty of 1 count of battery and 1 count of simple assault following a day-long trial inside Albany County Circuit Courtroom. So the jury deliberated roughly for 30 minutes before reaching a verdict following a trial that saw the prosecution and defense call a combined 10 witnesses.
But again, Redding did plead non-guilty back in February to these charges, and again was at least trial by jury, acquitted of all charges.
I know, but was he in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was he breaking team rules?
Again, that's something that Coach Edwards would have to discuss. But again, he was suspended. I would assume more so of what was happening, or at least with this situation here of the at least charges that were placed against him. But now he's been found not guilty. So again,
is a senior year loss.
A somewhat bright spot for Redding of, hey, okay, I don't have to worry about this. But, again, you did lose out on that senior year. Was it lost? So it is something where we could toy around, maybe ask Coach Edwards about that. But, again, it was probably wrong place, wrong time for Redding. And, being a familiar face, maybe there were some interesting, again, not to assume anything, but you can only wonder of, okay, I know him. He's part of the basketball team.
I'm sure
he's been a part of Washington State. He's in the media. I know him. Okay, here's my chance. I recognize his face. Okay, he's the one that did it.
But I'm assuming in today's technology world in all these places, video cameras? So
some of these places have cameras that are worse off than ours, where you can barely understand, or at least a pixel looks like it's just something just out of this world back in the 80s. But not knowing what the technology out there in Laramie is, especially at this bar, but evidence was brought forth, whatever it was. Hey, again, he's found not guilty, so that weight is lifted off his shoulders. But is it something where you could only imagine he's had pro, at least, sights or wanted to continue his basketball career outside of the University of Wyoming? Here was his chance his senior year to do something special, possibly for this team, or at least add some help to this team. And, well, he got to miss out on it. And it is a sour note, but you wonder if there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel for Redding of will he be able to finish out a senior year? Will the Cowboys allow that? Does the NCAA allow that? Again, a lot of questions surrounding
this. Does he even graduate here in May? Who knows? Yeah. All right. Let's step off basketball here for a little bit because we do want to catch up with Coach Edwards here in probably about 20 minutes or so. I do want to move on to the National Hockey League real quick. So while we have that opportunity and we can talk about two series closed out, I mean, bang, zoom.
They closed out as I said they would.
They're jaw droppers as far as I'm concerned.
Not the Islanders. They are a very talented team.
Pittsburgh is aging. Pittsburgh usually is competitive.
Pittsburgh's aging. That's plain and simple. The Penguins right now, they're too old of a team to compete with the Islanders. Islanders have been building up. They have the young faces. They've been doing something special this season, and again, continued on. A 4-game sweep for the Islanders, even on the road, does not surprise me. I had a feeling it was going to go that way, and kudos to the Islanders. Now on the other side for Columbus, sweeping at home against Tampa Bay. What a better story in NHL right now than the Columbus Blue Jackets getting that done, especially in front of that at least crowd. First playoff series win in franchise history for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And you do it against a team that
had last. I mean, they punished the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Tampa Bay, there was a lot of empty nets, and they were trying to come back. So it was kind of a lot of goals were scored in garbage time in that contest. But for Columbus, so history was made. What a way, though, to get your first ever series win against the President Cup winning team, a team that had 30 more, at least I do believe about 30 more points than you, a team that was just dominant. Well, the difference between these two was just astronomical.
It was night and day.
And Columbus just said, hey, we're not scared by anything that Tampa Bay is bringing up to us. We know how to compete with Washington as we did last year. We know how to compete against these upper echelon teams, even though we're a wild card. And they got it done. And again, a 4-game sweep. Did not anticipate this. Did not even anticipate Columbus would even win this series. But here it is, set in stone. Tampa Bay proves, or at least continues to be that franchise where they get into the playoffs. They do very well in the regular season, but it's a complete joke. It's a complete joke where they didn't even put up an effort, and they were embarrassed. Plain and simple.
Embarrassed. I mean, this is you want to talk about a black eye for the franchise. And again, I had this series going 5, figuring that Columbus would get 1 game at home.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine how many folks all had their money on Tampa Bay. But this is one of the biggest upsets around in the National Hockey League. Nobody gave Columbus a puncher's chance in this series.
I mean, this could be one of your bigger upsets in probably pro sports history of what Columbus did against Tampa Bay, where they were just so on different sides of the spectrum, where Columbus just sneaking into the second wildcard spot. Tampa Bay just dominated the entire NHL ranks, and they just did this in convincing fashion. Again, you look at the score last night, 7-3. Again, a lot of those goals for Columbus did come in just kind of those garbage time, took advantage of an empty net here and there, and that's where it stands. But in game 1, 2, and 3, I mean, they were complete blowouts where Columbus, they're a scary team right now, especially in the Eastern Conference. It is something that New York absolutely has to take an eye on. Same with out of whoever comes out of the Toronto-Boston series. Obviously, they're going to see Columbus, so it's one of those two teams that's going to have a tough fight. And then, obviously, out of the East as well, where, again, Washington Capitals, you might be defending Stanley Cup champions, but no one right now in the East to get to the Stanley Cup final can disrespect Columbus at this point. Columbus, are they my favorite right now, or do they become the favorite in the East? I don't think so. I really don't think so at this point in time. But they're going to make it interesting. They're going to make it interesting now moving on to that second round, getting over that hump, kind of like what we saw last year with the Winnipeg Jets, finally getting those wins, getting that series victory finally, even though Winnipeg has had that in the past, but Columbus did this for the first time this year in franchise history. Second round, depending on... I say this. I think Columbus, whether it is Boston, whether it is Toronto, again, that's going to be a toss-up. Those teams are so evenly matched. That might be a 7-game series between Columbus and whoever comes out of that, where I say give a slight advantage to Columbus. I think this is a team, you talk about momentum, especially around the playoffs, where the Avs are riding that a little bit right now in their series. Columbus has a huge wave of momentum. They are the hottest team, I would say, right now in NHL, and that is something that I have a feeling could carry this team to make it interesting. And do I dare say that Columbus could be making their way, or at least find a way to get the Eastern Conference Finals?
No, Columbus is proving one thing. And again, every time we get to the playoffs and it's seed 1 versus seed 8, whatever the case may be, however it rolls, and we saw this in the Warriors game.
NHL is a lot different than basketball.
I understand
it's a lot
that,
different.
Everybody starts out 0-0.
Well,
and Columbus might be that Cinderella story.
These upsets are not that uncommon, though, where we've seen the LA Kings come from a wild card position and end up winning the Stanley Cup. It's very... It's interesting. It is surprising, but it hasn't been done before. This isn't a rarity. But I think what Columbus did, though, again, the 4-game sweep against the President Cup team, a team that just dominated through the regular season, this is huge, though. This is definitely a lot bigger than what the Kings have done, other teams in the past of these upsets. This is historic of what Columbus did.
And I saw a wild card many years ago in the Oakland Raiders, they were in Oakland, no, they were the LA Raiders at the time, coming from the wild card and winning the Super Bowl. So again, it can be done. Again, everybody goes 0-0 when it comes to the playoffs. And the Blue Jackets.
You can't really put parallels with football and hockey, where hockey, you got to win multiple games in a series.
Well, you had to win 3 games there in the National Football League to become Super Bowl champions. Is that the call we're waiting on?
No, it's someone
else.
All
right, well, let's go to the phone line here and take our telephone call and say welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk today. How you doing? Doing really good. What's up?
Yes, we are.
Do you not want to be on the air? That's okay. Well, we'll say adios. You can call the office, and obviously the office is now here doing sports. So leave a message, and we'll get back to you. That'd be the easiest way to do it.
This is our studio line.
All right. Again, and our office number is 307-637-0301.
Well, no one's going to answer it because we're the only ones here.
I said it's got voicemail.
Well, either way, but I think the issue is also, too, again, do want to remind folks that our websites are still down, so I guess maybe that's the issue right now, again, where we're still waiting to hopefully get our web hosting services. Or at least
the main web server that we were on, along with others, crashed, and they were in the process of moving us to a new server. Well, obviously, it died before they had the opportunity to take everybody off and put us on the new server. We're talking about 3 days that this thing is going to be down, and hopefully it'll be up and running.
Tentative schedule.
We're hoping. At least they've been in touch with us to let us know what's going on. All right, so Blue Jackets moving on. Islanders moving on. Islanders will face the winner of Washington and Carolina. That series 2-1 in favor of the Caps. Boston, Toronto, they're knotted up, correct me if I'm wrong, at 2 apiece right now in their series.
Boston and Toronto? No, they're actually playing
Toronto. Toronto was up 2-1 in that series.
There you go. They're playing Game 4 tonight along with Nashville, along with Calgary, those two other series as well. But looking at what happened last night, or at least looking past those 4-game at least sweeps by the Islanders, by the Blue Jackets.
Let's go to the T-Mobile Arena where
how about before you get to the Vegas Golden Knights, there is one other interesting matchup in the West that happened before that game wrapped up.
How about the
Jets and the Blues?
And again, nobody's won at home yet. It's been the road team winning both games.
And Jets had to do it in an interesting fashion where they had to wrap it up in overtime where it was tied 1-1, and then Winnipeg found that lucky net there. But that series is now tied 2 apiece, where something's got to give in this. Will St. Louis now moving on to the road against Winnipeg? Will they win this game, or will this be – this Game 5 is obviously the ultimate decider of what's going to happen in the series of can Winnipeg take advantage. They're on a 2-game winning streak right now. You know, momentum, streaks, all this fun stuff. Winnipeg, you got that heading back to your home arena where that fan base is loud and proud. There's no reason why Winnipeg can't win Game 5 at home.
Well, it's the same thing we said about St. Louis. There's no reason why they can't win Game 3. They had the momentum their way.
Yeah, so
right now the series favors St. Louis. Nobody's won at home.
Well, and for Winnipeg, this is something where it's not a must-win, clearly, but for Winnipeg, you need to get this home win. There's no doubt about it. You've proven enough. Yes, you can get it done on the road in St. Louis. Good for you. But now you need to win at home. You need Game 5. There's no doubt about it, because if St. Louis takes over Game 5, what's stopping them for, maybe it is a game of where it does go on those streaks, or at least take advantage of every win is on the road. Well, that's going to favor at least St. Louis to eventually win that series. But for St. Louis, if they win Game 5, you're heading back to St. Louis, the Enterprise Center. There's no doubt about it that St. Louis should pick up the slack in Game 6 and take care of business and just wrap it up 4-2. But right now, it is a complete toss-up of what's going to happen.
Flip a coin on that one. Then the Vegas Golden Knights in T-Mobile Arena last night, and Fleury again in Stanley Cup form. I will give him that. He was just sensational between the pipes last night. And that split in San Jose right now, it looks like it's going to come back to bite the Sharks as
it did last year.
Golden Knights take care of business at T-Mobile last night, 5-0. They head back to San Jose. Sharks are one game away from saying adios.
Yeah, Sharks are definitely at that point of your backs are against the wall. You need this win. And will they get it, though? I don't see it. Vegas, right now, they're proving, especially where defense has picked it up since Game 1, where, you know, the net minding and everything else, it looked pretty pathetic against the San Jose Sharks. But right now, they figured it out. The offense is clicking 5-0 in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights, where they scored a lot. Again, it was about 3-0 heading into the third period. So for Vegas, they should wrap things up in San Jose. There is no reason why they shouldn't. Don't anticipate San Jose to come back in this series, but for Vegas, it would, for me, again, as a fan of this team and watching what this team can do, there's no reason why they can't win at San Jose. They should wrap this thing up in Game 5. They absolutely should.
I think it heads back to T-Mobile for Game 6. I think the Sharks will breathe one more breath of life.
Not going to happen.
And, well, it doesn't matter. Either way, the Vegas Golden Knights are going to move on to the next round.
Right now, all pieces are firing on all cylinders right now for Vegas. The defense, where it looked like it was going to be struggling a bit, again, with the net minding, Vegas has gotten that all figured out, pieced together. It's operating in full 100% capacity. And the Golden Knights are right now back in the same form as what we saw last year in the playoffs. That eventually led them to the Stanley Cup final, which ultimately they did lose to the Washington Caps. But this is the same Vegas Golden Knights team of what we saw in the playoffs last year right now.
Bruins and the Maple Leafs tonight in the Scotiabank Arena. Maple Leafs up 2-1.
Might want to get to a break as we got our guests here.
We need to get to him right now and give him a call.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's real quick here. Bruins and the Maple Leafs tonight, Scotiabank Arena. Toronto leading that best of 7, 2-1. Preds and the Stars with Nashville up 2-1. That will be at American Airlines Arena. This is going to be a big one for Dallas tonight. I think they may tie it up. And the Avalanche, not since their Stanley Cup years will there be a raucous crowd like they should have tonight. And hopefully the Avs go up 3-1 as they can clinch another victory tonight on home ice at the Pepsi Center, because the Flames have not looked good this entire series.
Avalanche should win this game coming up tonight. There's no reason why.
I think the Flames have been doused.
Flames, certainly, they had their chance in Game 3. They let it slip. Avs, they have all the momentum. Avalanche are the more impressive team right now, especially where you added the new collegiate products there, and he's kind of bolstered this team. Right now, the Avalanche, there's no reason why they can't win tonight and go up 3-1 against the Calgary Flames.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back, hopefully, with our first special guest after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering
your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 56 and winds out of the north at 20 to 30 miles per hour. If it's tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 33 and winds out of the north at 15 to 20 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 56. And on Thursday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 36.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Larry Peroetti, along with Nick Peroetti. Special guest, head coach of the University of Wyoming Cowboys basketball team, Alan Edwards, to join us. Coach, good to have you back on the program. Busy day today, but I want to get into an event that happened yesterday, and it concerned former senior guard Nye Redding, who was, again, not guilty of an altercation that happened in downtown Laramie back in December. I guess your thoughts on the young man at least being able to clear his name.
Well, it was an unfortunate situation, and I actually attended the trial as well. And I guess what I don't want to anybody forget that, there were people that got hurt within this matter. But, just being there and even going through the process with Nye and even the stance that we took, obviously it was more about letting the justice system do its part. But within all of it, it's hard to say happy or sad. You just didn't want the wrong person being convicted for something that he felt that he did not do. But at the same time, you just don't want to disregard that a young lady was hurt within this matter, and just figuring out somehow finding the person that actually did what was said that was done to her.
Coach, part of my ignorance as I ask this next question, with him being let go off the team last year because of the purported incident, and again, I think it was 9 games into the season, does he lose that senior year of eligibility, or does he get that year reinstated?
Well, I don't necessarily say he loses it. I think if he tried to appeal it within the NCAA, they would have to rule on that in a sense of giving him the year back, but it's not guaranteed that, yes, he has another year. But I don't know if we had not spoken about that, so I don't know if that's something that he wants to do. But again, it was just an unfortunate situation.
Coach, thank you for your comments, and I do appreciate that. Let me get right into the heart of the matter, and this kind of reminds me of an old episode on Seinfeld where Woody the bartender asks Norm, how's it going? And he says, well, Woody, I'm wearing milk-bone underwear, and it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. And I'm thinking to myself...
You're talking Seinfeld, not Cheers?
Cheers, excuse me, I'm sorry. Well, anyway, my point is, well, I'm old too. Yeah. Coach, that's what I think in your profession right now, everybody's going after certain recruits right now, and there's a lot of colleges, whether it's D1, D2, even JUCOs, everybody's going after freshman classes right now. And tell us a little bit how it was for you this season.
Well, you know what, I'm excited about the couple kids that we had today, but also the kid, Kenny Foster, that we got in the early signing period. And like you said, it's a part of what we do. No matter what level you're on, and again, even with the whole transfer portal and fifth-year seniors and things of that nature, all that comes into play. But the two young men that signed with us today, Quan Marvel, who, we really recruited, very hard over the summer. And I don't know if you guys remember, actually committed to us early and decommitted, and then recommitted to us, after a scholarship was available. But, he's a big guard, that has a toughness about him, can play multiple positions, very good at the point or off the basketball, defends it well, rebounds it well, has a high basketball IQ, and then he shoots it. And Greg, which is a tremendous lead guard, leadership type qualities, and has a tremendous belief in his abilities, and also a guy that has the toughness about him. Both of these guys' bodies are ready to play at the next level, and he does a great job of just, being a leader, bringing guys together, and at the same time, he has the ability to score it as well. So happy to get these two, and at the same time, still in the process of finishing out this recruiting class.
Again, 3 signed recruits. Again, as you mentioned with Kenny Foster, do want to at least mention to folks that he was named recently the Gatorade Player of the Year down in the state of Colorado. He's a 3-star rank, at least 3-star ranking, at least player from the state of Colorado that the Cowboys have signed. Now with 3 signed recruits, at least coming up for the Wyoming Cowboys, how many scholarships do you have remaining right now to give out to potential recruits right now, Coach?
We have 2 left. I don't know if you guys know, obviously Trace Young decided to get into the transfer portal, and then we regained 1 with Tyreek because of his heart, because of his being medically disqualified.
Coach, last year we had you on this program, and we were talking about the signings that you had that were coming to UW, and one of the comments that you made, and I'll never forget, you said, all these guys can play offense, but they really haven't been tested yet defensively. Did you see that with that? And again, I know you had a lot of injuries, and again, I can't even fathom the season that you went through this year, especially with the injuries. But did you see that in play this year with those young men? Did they try to give you that offensive look, but were still a little weak on the defensive side?
Well, I thought they – again – It was a tough year, but I thought they got thrown into the fire, and with them being thrown in the fire, I thought they just grew at a pace that didn't produce as many wins that one would probably anticipate. But I thought again, JJ did a great job of carrying the guys and keeping them engaged and just taking the baby steps. But I thought as the year went on, you just noticed things that they got better at, but it wasn't, again, something that just turned over into wins. But they were more offensive-minded than they were defensively. But as the year went on, I thought guys started to understand that better. And then even as the year ended and getting ready for next year and talking to these guys as we're working out right now, the biggest focus has been on defending, 2 things, cardio, defending, and rebounding the basketball. So, but sometimes that helps you more when you have a guy in his second year versus the first year, especially freshmen. And I thought the one thing that kept us back, too, was their bodies wasn't ready for the physical beating that we kind of endured with some of the more mature teams that we had on our schedule.
I was going to say, talking about those big bodies, not to cut you off, but with those big bodies and something that we see here, especially here in the city of Cheyenne with Laramie County Community College and the men's basketball program here, where, again, size is something that is desperately needed in college basketball. But is that something for you, Coach, where you saw what happened last year, and here in the offseason, understand that you were at the JUCO National Tournament, have that opportunity here with the Region 9, at least here in the state of Wyoming, down in Colorado and western Nebraska, but is it something where you've looked at seeing those college-ready big players, whether it's at LCCC or at a Casper College or Sheridan? Again, we got a lot of talent here in the state of Wyoming, or at least here in the Region 9 area. Have you taken a look at least at those players throughout this area for at least bringing on to the University of Wyoming?
Yeah, I think one of the things we do have the luxury of having so many junior colleges here in the state. And we're spread out a little bit, so it takes a little while for us to get to the locations. But I thought we did a good job of covering it. Obviously saw Casper out in the National JUCO, Sheridan we had already seen because we were recruiting a big that ended up choosing to go somewhere else. But I think we do a good job of just making sure we're popping in and at least seeing these guys. But it still comes back to, our fit and what we're looking for. And, different than what you just said, being out of the National JUCO event, obviously saw some bigs there that we were intrigued by that obviously we want to get on campus for official visits. And at the same time, one of the biggest things, when I talked to our strength coach, Coach Marcus, was, our bodies have to change, with the kids, the young men that we have in our program. And, just over the past month, you can see the work that these guys have been putting in the weight room and putting on weight just so that they're getting ready for us coming back in the summer, but also for next season.
Coach, you came off a couple of 20-win seasons, and you went out and you heavily recruited last year. And, of course, this year with all of the injuries. And again, as far as I'm concerned, a pass on this season because that's just one of those anomaly years where injuries were everywhere, except for folks in the stands. But my point is, was it tougher to do the recruiting once you have a season like this year?
Well, it's yes and no. I think at the end of the day, when you're recruiting, you say what was going on with the year, but you sell what you did for the first 2 years, winning the CBI championship, going from 13 wins to 23 wins, and then coming back with a 20-win season. And then when talking to recruits or talking to the recruits' parents or talking to the coaches, I was very detailed about this year and how it went and how it happened. And you would be amazed at how the reaction that people would, kind of say, wow, you went through all of that. And the one thing I would say, even going through all of that, the spirit was still good within this program. So, this year is not what we've done here at the University of Wyoming. But you still have to go up against negative recruiting because people would look at the record and say that, oh, man, they had a horrible year. But that's where the information part comes in. And then the relationship because, even in this recruiting business, when you decide to get out there and recruit, you're going back to people that you really, really know and the people that know you and what you're about and the type of program that you're running. So, again, to get these 3 kids that we've gotten so far, that really came back down to relationships and recruiting our tails off and then explaining to them what we went through this year and actually having them watch some of our games and, helping them to understand that we had to activate a manager to play for us and we had to bring somebody over from football and then we just had guys coming in and out with injuries and then we lost veteran guys. And we had to rely on first-year guys and freshmen to get through the season.
Coach, and final thought for me, and thank you again for joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. And again, it's not about the W's and L's here in this question, but a lot of those young guys that you brought in last year come from, good programs, and last year's season was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this happen before. What was the message to these guys to, because again, they're young, they've got fragile egos. What was your message to them as they get ready for the next season?
Well, you know what? I mean, I thought the message, even going through what we were going through, was very consistent. And again, every time we showed up to play a game, I was very confident in our guys to go out there and compete and win. We just didn't win. So they never, I don't feel like they ever lost confidence within going through what we went through. But as we get prepared for this year, one of our biggest things was, guys, we have to work harder, whether it be in the weight room, whether it be on the court, embracing what we need to be able to do on the defensive end of the floor, rebounding the basketball and taking care of it on offense. I think you still go back to, what your identity is or what you're trying to create here at the University of Wyoming. So I don't think we have a very fragile group in a sense of mentality. I think now some of these guys are saying, man, we just went through one heck of a year and we dealt with so much and yet we kind of came out of it on the back end to where we won 2 out of our last 3, and then actually had a good lead in the tournament that we kind of shook off. But I thought just even ending the way we were able to end gave these guys some positivity, and then bringing back a guy like Maldonado, who I think would be the best leader that this program has seen in a very, very long time, get back out there on the floor with these guys and them following him. I think we're in good hands with him, in a sense, taking over from what JJ was able to leave behind.
Well, Coach, we thank you so much for joining us on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hopefully we'll get to catch up with you down the road here in maybe a couple of months.
No problem. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Alan Edwards, head coach of the University of Wyoming Cowboys, join us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We do need to pause for a break, and we'll be back after these words.
Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service, proven and respected when it comes to the care of your vehicle. For nearly 25 years, Cars has been there to repair and fix those minor problems to get you back on the road without major difficulties. And now, as we do more traveling at this time of year, see Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service first for your car or truck when it comes to tuning it up, an oil change, brakes, shocks, work on your air conditioning unit, and so much more. John and his crew at Cars gives your vehicle the precise detail it deserves. Respected with quality workmanship. Always bring your vehicle to Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service at 604 West Lincoln Way. Call for an appointment at 632-0498. Open Monday through Friday.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Okay, good day in the weight room, boys. Remember, we lift weights for strength. For cardio, we lift weights faster. Wachowski, quit looking at your stomach, son. What you're looking for ain't there. If you want a six-pack, the easiest way to get one is at Taco John's.
Stop in for a 6-pack and a pound at Taco John's. Get 6 crispy beef tacos and a pound of potato olays, all for $10.99.
Let's Olay the day and go get one right now. Last one there has to pick up Mrs. Coach from jiu-jitsu class.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
We're starting our 14th year, and we still believe in putting you first by making it easy to own a new Kia vehicle. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and right now, we can help get you into a new 2019 Kia Sportage for less than Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, or Ford Escape. The 2019 Kia Sportage comes standard with power-adjustable rear-view mirrors, rear camera display, remote keyless entry, and more. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
Join in for a festive evening of fun, food, and a live auction in Cheyenne on Monday, May 6th at the historic Little Bear Inn, which is sponsoring the Love Never Forgets Gala to benefit the Wyoming chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. The event is being held to support the services provided on behalf of the nearly 30,000 Wyomingites affected by this relentless form of dementia. For more information, call the Alzheimer's chapter at 316-2892. That's 316-2892. Or visit First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue for your tickets. Remember, at First Tier Bank, you'll find the best rate on a 27-month CD with a 3.10% annual percentage yield. Right now, it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM, and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY, and that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures, makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 56 and winds out of the north at 20 to 30 miles per hour. If it's tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 33 and winds out of the north at 15 to 20 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 56. And on Thursday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 36.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, you have University of Wyoming head coach Alan Edwards to join us there. Most recently, we'll have coming up in the 4 o'clock hour head coach Jason Ficca of LCCC, as he is also on the recruiting trail too. So, you got D1 here, you got JUCOs there, you got D2s, you got the upper echelon of the D1s.
And we're focusing on the men today. We'll have also too Brian Ortmeyer in studio tomorrow as well to give the kind of ladies scoop on things of what's happening over at LCCC, of where recruits are coming in, what players are going where for the Golden, at least for the Lady Golden Eagles as well. So again, a lot of things to talk about again, but we will have Jason Ficca in studio to get his thoughts on all of that, but also too again what is happening around Region 9 as well too, as players are moving on, players are moving in, but also too coaches are moving in and moving out as well too.
So anyway, going back to the Alan Edwards conversation, and again, a lot of things to talk about, and again,
a lot to break down.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to go into the Tom Berman giving him the go ahead and coach.
The fire is definitely under him, though.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest, and it's something where Tom was, a little. He kind of skirted around the thing, but again, we understand that it comes down to wins and losses. Hey, that's whether in JUCO, that's whether at high school, that's obviously in D1, and it was the anomaly.
He's paid to win.
It was.
That's what he's brought in. It's for the W's.
Yeah, but again, you can't deny of just how bad the season was. Again, it was an anomaly. The sicknesses, the injuries, it did plague the Wyoming Cowboys. But again, what comes down to it is fans did not show up. That's where, so you're looking at numbers there of attendance, loss of revenue, loss of monies. Again, not in the prime situation, or at least prime time games, whether it's on CBS Sports Network or whatever televised contest, because those networks could care less about a team that was flirting at dead last of the Mountain West. And again, those wins and losses where they were sub 500, struggled through the Mountain West. Everything is kind of compiled and looked at. And I think for Coach Alan Edwards, you're losing, again, with Justin James, that's going to hurt this team, obviously, and a few other seniors, but they are gaining back, or at least some juniors, some sophomores that hopefully under the tutelage, or at least talking with Coach Alan Edwards, hey, maybe they do get bigger, stronger, faster. It's something that we talked with Jason Ficca as well, where, hey, we need to develop these players. Right. We saw what it was this time. We need to get them at least in the weight room right now and make sure that they're ready to compete against the Nevadas of the world, to compete against Utah State that do have those bigger bodies out there that are going to muscle their way on the inside, or at least try to keep those entities outside of the arc, where Cowboys love to shoot the three, but it felt like those teams kind of pushed them out there and said that's your only shot you're going to get.
Yeah, again, bigger, faster, stronger. That was a very key post-game show that we had with head coach Jason Ficca.
All good it's all good in theory, but will it translate in 2019-2020? Again, you can only hope so, but right now it is something where for Coach Alan Edwards, 2019-2020 is certainly going to be that make or break season.
Well, for Alan Edwards, and again, with the Boo Birds out in full force.
Oh, yeah.
And deservedly so. Again, these guys are paying to see these games, but no one's showing up to see these games now. And again, obviously Justin James was not the major attraction for fans to come out and watch the Cowboys play last year.
He was somewhat.
It's about W's and L's, Nick, and there was more L's. Justin James was, 40% to 50% of the team last year, but he could not single-handedly get butts in seats. So you sit here and you look at a situation with the Cowboys this upcoming season. You're looking at Hunter Maldonado. You got to keep the kid healthy.
Yeah,
he's got to have to be in the weight room.
Yeah,
he's going to have to get bigger, faster, stronger.
He's got to be healthy, but again, as Coach Alan Edwards is relying on him to be that vocal leader, at least be the team kind of figurehead. Thompson. I think absolutely. I think Hunter Maldonado can be that entity. He showed stints of it this season, but hopefully he will. But right now, it is those younger pieces that did get some playing time. They got that experience, which is good. It's absolutely good for them, but now you need to develop them. You got to understand, and something that you address and something that we've criticized for the Wyoming Cowboys is it is a team that thinks offensive first and defense is just second nature. Well, you can get away with that if you're the Golden State Warriors. You're not getting away with that here in Laramie, Wyoming with the Wyoming Cowboys. And it's good to hear that Alan Edwards realizes that, understands that, and hopefully it translates into 2019-2020 for the Wyoming Cowboys.
Well, and again, too.
Mountain West, I think Mountain West, you're going to see a changing of the guard possibly. Even though we haven't even announced it or at least talked about it, but Nevada, even though losing their head coach, are going to be losing some big players, a part of that Wolfpack team. They did, however, pick back up a former face in the Mountain West of Steve Alford.
Yeah, former New Mexico coach.
Go figure that. So he's going to be part of Nevada. So I don't write off Nevada just yet with him as the head coach, but be interested to see just how the changing of the guard happens this season with the Mountain West. Of does Utah State stay at the top? Nevada as well. Do we see UNLV come back up? Do we see other entities move, whether it is a CSU? Does Wyoming rebound this season? A lot of question marks for men, at least in men's basketball here in the Mountain West.
Well, and also, too, and we look down the road in Pine Bluffs, going to have to slap on a little weight on one Hunter Thompson. Oh, yeah. And again, too, he's going to have to decide, is he a three-point shooter, or are they going to put him at a power forward position? Yeah. What are they going to do with him? Because the guy is 6'10", 6'11", well, and he's sitting outside the arc.
Yeah,
we need him underneath the boards.
Absolutely, especially where you look at the signees. Obviously, they're freshmen. Will they get any time? We'll see. We'll probably not see that. But you look at Kenny Foster again, the early signee out of the state of Colorado, 6'4". He's 190. At least Marbles Jr. He's 6'5", 185, coming out of Denver East, out of Colorado, and then the JUCO product out of Sacramento City College. That is Greg Milton. He's 6'3", 185. So again, similar height, style, similar kind of weight and built as well. Again, it's something where, yes, you need to put on some poundage. You need to put on some bulk for Hunter Thompson and keep him on the inside. So
you look at a lot of these guys.
He needs that bulk where you look at, and Alan Edwards addressed that, where, hey, they're getting battle tested by big guys. Well, we need to get just as big.
Well, I look at some of the guys on the roster that will be returning. I got thighs bigger than these guys. So they're going to need to get into that weight room, need to bulk up, and they need to eat some good food. That's what they need to do. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today after these words.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
It is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, being presented to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. Tonight is the night. You are not going to cook. You're grabbing a 6-pack at a pound and you're trekking it on home from Taco John's of Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jayco RVs, fifth wheels, and travel trailers. Again, on Highway 30. Chick-fil-A at the corner, Windmill and Delrange, serving up 3 squares, 6 days a week. See my good friends Ray and Cindy and the entire crew over at Chick-fil-A across from Menards. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. The 19s are on the lot. Yeah, there's some 18s too. So if you're looking for a really, really good deal, test drive either an 18 or a 19. AJ and the crew are going to take good care of you over at Kia of Cheyenne. Platte Valley Bank times 2. Eastside location right there at the corner of College of Bergen, the original location on Vanderheim. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body times 2, the main auto and truck repair center on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. First Tier Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue, banking the old-fashioned way, you customer service. Always first and foremost, Monday through Friday. Mondello's Pizzeria, 7 days a week. Paisan cuisine at its best at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, always on the job 24/7, 1515 Logan Avenue. And we get things underway with our scoreboard. It's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Nick kicks things off first.
Just pass it along, at least schedule update regarding Cheyenne Post 6, as this Sunday's game at 3 o'clock that was set for at least to take on the Laramie team at Powersfield has been moved to Friday due to potential bad weather. So again, reminding folks that Cheyenne Post 6 in action for the first time this season at home at Powersfield this Friday at 6 p.m. as they will host Laramie. Also, too, regarding baseball, at least we'll get into more, at least for the Cheyenne Mustangs and what's coming up for them, as we'll have tickets at least to give away here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. NHL action for tonight. Toronto Maple Leafs at home. They will host the Boston Bruins. You can see that game on NBC Sports Network. Toronto leads that series 2-1. Nashville Preds, they will travel to Big D to see the Dallas Stars, where Nashville leads that series 2-1. You can see that game on USA Network. And last but not least, Colorado Avalanche at home at Pepsi Center. They will take on the Calgary Flames as they lead that series 2-1. And you can see that game on NBC Sports Network. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
Games that are being played early today, getaway day, Royals and the White Sox. Well, they're going to delay the plane flight for the Royals right now because they moved to the bottom of the 10th inning as the Royals lead the White Sox 4-3 in Chicago. Finals that are in, Phillies have beat the Mets 3-2. Cardinals over the Brewers 6-3. Dodgers at Chavez Ravine 3-2 winners over Cincinnati. Games getting underway this hour will be the Red Sox and the Yankees in the Bronx, Indians at Seattle to take on the M's at T-Mobile Park, Pirates and the Motor City Kitties from Co-America. In the 5 o'clock hour, Giants and the Nats at Nationals Park, Orioles and Rays in the Trop, Cubs and the Marlins at Marlins Park, Diamondbacks, Braves in SunTrust Park. It will be the Blue Jays and the Twins at Target Field. 6 o'clock hour has Angels and the Rangers in Arlington. 8 o'clock tonight, it will be the Athletics in the Oakland Coliseum hosting the Houston Astros. On the NBA side for this evening, as we move on to Game 2s, at the TD Garden, Celtics will entertain the Pacers. Boston up 1-0. Milwaukee in their series 1-0 lead over the Detroit Pistons. That will be in the Fiserv Forum again. And the Rockets in the Toyota Center holding a 1-0 lead over the Utah Jazz. That will be the late night contest. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83? Come on, you're up!
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
At Platte Valley Bank, we understand that you have a busy life, and that means you don't always have time to come to the bank. That's why we offer user-friendly online and mobile banking with features such as bill pay, recurring transfers, and mobile deposit, so you can bank how you want when you want to. Whether you prefer to bank in person, over the phone, or online, Platte Valley Bank makes it easy to take care of your finances.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
You can count on Platte Valley Bank. Community banking for you.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day, at Windmill and Del Range. Check out this simple math equation. Add new games with new fun, and it equals new ways of winning at Wyoming Downs. Check out the newest simulcasting games on display today featuring Great American Buffalo, Midnight Wolf, and Kiss Me I'm Irish to go along with more exciting simulcasting games in play. Remember to get your player's card to enjoy triple points on Sundays and double points on Mondays. Also, Fridays and Saturdays, play Mystery Moolah. Plus, check out all of the other promotions going on every week at Wyoming Downs, with 2 locations to have fun in the Cheyenne Plaza at 3617 East Linkaway and at the Outlaw Saloon at 312 South Greeley Highway. For more information, go to wydowns.com.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480krae.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 56 and winds out of the north at 20 to 30 miles per hour. If it's tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 33 and winds out of the north at 15 to 20 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 56. And on Thursday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 36.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Back to Wyoming Sports Talk today, as we had the head coach of UW on, Alan Edwards. We got the head coach at LCCC joining us, Jason Ficca. And Coach, I know you get bored by me asking the question because I ask you the same question every time we sit down together, and the question is, how's recruiting going? It's just simply for the fact that, in my mind, I know of at least 4 to 5 spots that you're probably looking to fill here for the upcoming basketball season. So, question again, how's recruiting coming along?
Well, it's coming, and some, like everything, we're not in a huge hurry. We have top 5 scorers all returning, so we can be pretty selective right now. This time last year, we knew we had 2 guys returning, and we had to gobble up as many guys as we could get, but we were going to be pretty focused and directed exactly what we need, what holes we had to fill for next year's team. So last year we knew we needed some of everything, so it was just grab them while they're hot. But we've been out there. We've signed a couple players, Colorado kids that we think will be nice additions. Caleb Davis is a power forward out of Grand Junction. And then Braden Schlitt is a combo guard with some size, about a 6'4" combo guard out of Brighton, Colorado. So those are the 2 signees so far. We really need to focus our attention right now on getting some more size. Right now, on paper, the only post we have back is David Applegren, and his status is still up in the air whether he'll be back or not. It being a qualifier, he's still getting recruited. So we're hopeful that he'll be back for us, but it's up in the air.
What is the cutoff date for David Applegren or any other player for the Golden Eagles squad that you have up until this date to make a decision, or you're sticking with LCCC?
Well, I don't think I have not placed a hard date, and there really is no hard date other than probably when we get close to summer school. You know, if we're going to commit to resources for summer school for our players, then obviously we need them to commit to us, and vice versa. So anybody that's going to take one of our players to the next level, they're going to want them there for summer school as well. So we probably have about a month here when the semester ends. That's when we kind of know. That's what we've talked to David about, is at some point, yes, you should explore your options, but at some point, if you don't get what you want, you need to be willing to shut it down, because there'll be people still call in June and July. But that's a situation we don't want to get into, where we've been thinking for half the summer that we got David back, and here it is, 4th of July. He tells us he's moving on, and I don't know if we can find a replacement in July or August for a 7-footer.
But even though in this offseason, though, we talk about size, obviously David's got the height, but something that we talked with Coach Alan Edwards, where he addressed the issue, and something you've addressed as well, too, whether it's on pregame, postgame, or even doing the coach's show, is kind of getting bigger, stronger, faster with these players. this offseason, I mean, have you hit the ground running with your team, or at least kind of encourage them to hit the weight room, get into conditioning, all that fun stuff to kind of bulk up for the potential next season?
We've been more active and more focused on that this off season than I can remember. We're doing a lot of speed, agility, quickness training with our guys, also strength training. That's the bulk of the time we're spending together in our off-season workouts. It's not on basketball-specific stuff. We're doing some of that, but it's mostly speed, agility, quickness, and strength training. We all need that. It's interesting, especially David Applegren. We're really working on him of getting flexibility in his lower extremities, but then also once he gets flexible down there, he has to get some strength down there. Like his range of motion in his lower body is pretty limited, and when he does get beyond his comfortable range of motion, there's not a lot of power there. So we're focusing pretty hard on that for everybody, but especially him. He lacks it the most for a guy at his position.
Let's talk about the recruiting process. Like I mentioned with Coach Edwards, 300-plus schools in NCAA, and then you got Division II. And, again, all trying to court, the top freshmen to come to your school. And, again, too, here comes the JUCOs into play. And, again, good products here in Region 9 North as well as South across the U.S. How tough is it? And you've been in this coaching business a long time. How tough is it to go out and get that freshman player to come to Cheyenne and learn LCCC?
Well, LCCC in Cheyenne offers a lot, I think, to kids. When you talk about community college or junior college towns, this is a pretty good one. This is a pretty good situation. Our proximity to a major airport, our proximity to a metropolitan center, and then the size of our community in itself. And this is what I tell recruits all the time, and I probably said it on this show. Hey, most towns in our region, most JUCO towns have McDonald's and Subway. We got Chili's and Applebee's and Buffalo Wild Wings and Foot Locker. We have some stuff that your average 18 to 20-year-old kid wants to see in our community. You don't have to drive to it. So, it's not that tough of a sell once we get kids over. Oftentimes, if they're not from this region, you have to say Wyoming. Most kids, if you're from the East Coast, West Coast, California, wherever, you probably never imagined that you'd live in Wyoming.
It's even tough for those international ones. You wonder what David from Stockholm, Sweden, of Wyoming. What is that? Where is that even at in the U.S.? Is that even a real state?
Right.
But
once we get them oriented that way, and then get them over the climate hump, depending on where they're coming from. If they're coming from a cold weather climate, then it's not a big deal. The climate usually hasn't been a problem. We've had kids from Florida here that wore shorts year round and seemed to survive. So. There's a lot to sell here, so that's not the tough part. Filtering through the junior college recruiting is a little different. In ways it's probably easier than the Division I level, and in ways it's harder. There's challenges at both levels of recruiting. So one of the things that we struggle with is we don't have the staff and the resources to get to know kids as well as your average Division I can, be recruiting these kids for 2 or 3 years, and they have 2 or 3 assistants. That's primarily what they do. We oftentimes take kids on our team on faith a little bit. We don't know a whole lot about their personality or their character.
You don't have the luxury of an in-home visit like Coach Edwards was speaking.
Well, we could if we wanted to commit our resources there, but our resources are pretty limited in recruiting, and so we have to be very focused with how we use those dollars. So we can bring you on an official visit, and we can pay for that, but if we do that, we better get you. we can't afford to swing and miss very often in recruiting with our limited personnel and limited resources. So, that's the biggest thing for us is we end up taking a lot of kids without a whole lot of knowledge. We just haven't had a chance to really develop deep relationships with kids over a period of time. It's kind of quick and dirty, and I like you, you like me. I hear you're a good kid. We saw some video, we saw you play a couple times. Hey, what do you think? Let's do this.
Well, and here we are in 2019, and obviously I've asked you this at least few times about the technology portion where, again, you have that option to Skype or video chat with any of these players. But, you talk about money limitations on the JUCO side, whether it is all CCC or any other JUCO across the nation. But, I mean, how much of that technology could you take advantage of where, okay, we can't spend this money to go down to see you at home, whether you're in Colorado, Utah, or wherever it may be. You can't come up here for whatever reason. Is it something, kind of tongue-in-cheek for you, Coach, but is it something where you could grab an iPad and just kind of go, here, let's tour the school as you visualize with me and then sit in for a video conference with him and his parents? I mean, is that something in actuality or something that you could possibly do?
Well, certainly. We phone recruiting is a big part of what we do, and social media recruiting is a big part of what we do. So there's a lot of digital recruiting. There's all kinds of different video sharing sites. From YouTube to Huddle, and I mean we could run down a laundry list of. But you can go on YouTube and search. Search players and search, and find a lot there, more than you need to find. So there's plenty of things digitally to. Either phone or internet or iPad. We do a lot of it, and that's very valuable to us and makes it a lot easier to do our jobs. It's really tedious, even 10 years ago when you had to, get DVDs from a player. Hey, would you send me some video? And you got to watch a whole DVD, and that was tedious. So yes, this kind of instant. Upload it to the internet is fantastic for us.
I wonder if the sophomore class under at least under your tutelage, even knows what a DVD is at this point.
Well, we bring DVDs on the bus to.
I guess I forget about that. Yeah,
we're talking.
I would assume that they just go, hey, it's on the screen.
We're talking with Jason Ficca, head coach at LCCC. Coach, you have a couple of Europeans that'll be returning, hopefully. Mateo Zovko, along with David Appelgren. And again, with the JUCOs especially, and I've noticed this too, and I've had this conversation with Brian as well. Are we seeing a bigger influx to the junior college system of basketball with the Europeans and those from other foreign countries that want to come to the U.S. to play basketball and further their education, so to speak?
I don't.
More than the four-year schools?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't sit there and quote you statistics. It's significant. The interest in coming to the United States to play and go to school at the same time is very attractive because there's very few, and maybe the U.S. and Canada are the only systems of higher ed in the world that have basically school-sponsored athletics. So if you might be attending college in a European country and then also playing on some semi-professional club, but it has no affiliation to the school. So, that's a big draw. I mean, I think there's a big draw in coming to the U.S., period, whether you're an athlete or not. But then when you throw the chance for those kids to play and go to school at the same time, where they don't really have that convenient option in a lot of countries, it's pretty attractive. So we've had a lot of international kids. Obviously we've been international, pretty international heavy over the years here. We're trying to move a little bit away from it. Just economics of it are getting more challenging for us. I would love it if I were the thing I love about, say, the Division I level recruiting is you just give a scholarship. And they have 13 of them, and I don't have that. I have a dollar figure and basically a salary cap, and that salary cap doesn't equal 15 full scholarships, which are max. So, and essentially this year, tuition is going to cost us more. So dollars are shrinking a little bit. So, the out-of-state player, the international player is more expensive. So we've tried to focus our recruiting a little bit more on the western United States where kids get a tuition break. We can spread our dollars a little bit further. So
head coach and accountant as well out there at LCCC.
It's kind of like being a GM in the professional. You got to manage your salary cap, and it's really similar. In football, quarterbacks cost the money. Well, in junior college basketball, big guys cost the money. Finding 6'10", 7-footers, they're going to cost you more than 6-footers. 6-footers are more common. You can, maybe usually get that with maybe less than a full scholarship. So there's those challenges of money and resources, and I would love it if I just had, here's your scholarships. Don't worry about what scholarship.
Here's infinite money. Yeah. Have fun.
Don't worry about what a scholarship costs. You have this many of them. But that's not the way my financial aid is delivered to me to disperse.
We're going to take a time out. We're going to come back, and we're going to have more of our conversation with head coach Jason Ficca after these words here on 1480 KRAE.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
Hop into the KRAE Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 KRAE, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480KRAE.com.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Good game, boys. You showed some real fight. Like when Wachowski put that hit on our own mascot. Solid work, son. Okay, Friday was for football, but Tuesday is for tacos. Taco Tuesday at Taco John's. It's a sacred holiday where we eat tacos repeatedly until I get full.
Save big every Taco Tuesday with crispy beef tacos for just 99 cents.
Get some rest, boys, because come Taco Tuesday, we olay the day.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Check out this simple math equation. Add new games with new fun, and it equals new ways of winning at Wyoming Downs. Check out the newest simulcasting games on display today featuring Great American Buffalo, Midnight Wolf, and Kiss Me I'm Irish to go along with more exciting simulcasting games in play. Remember to get your player's card to enjoy triple points on Sundays and double points on Mondays. Also, Fridays and Saturdays, play Mystery Moolah. Plus, check out all of the other promotions going on every week at Wyoming Downs, with 2 locations to have fun in the Cheyenne Plaza at 3617 East Linkaway and at the Outlaw Saloon at 312 South Greeley Highway. For more information, go to wydowns.com.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Van High Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Community banking for you.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing!
And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Back with head coach Jason Ficca of the LCCC Golden Eagles. Coach, you had and I don't want to say a similar year to UW, but you had some likenesses. You had sickness, you had injuries, you had a player leave the team. I remember one game we called, you had two bodies that you could go to down the bench because you were limited in players.
I was going to say, it wasn't just a game. There was kind of a few games that were limited bodies.
But I'm just saying, though, you had a similar situation to the Cowboys. Plus, you were bringing along a new group of kids to college basketball and learning yours and Coach Salisbury's system. So I guess not so much a frustrating season, but was it also a learning year for you as well?
Certainly, yeah. We lost close to 60 games, I think, to injury and illness, and in the case of that number realistically is probably more like about 75. That number 60 doesn't include Anthony Munson sitting out the second semester after he was healthy. We decided to redshirt him and not burn a year of eligibility for half the season. So when I say, I think it's 56 or 59, something like that, games, close to 60, it doesn't include 15 games or 16 games he didn't play after healthy and redshirting. So we lost a lot of games to injury and illness. And in the previous, I know in the time that Megan's been our athletic trainer, 4 or 5 years, she showed me the statistics. The number of games we lost to injury and illness this year is more than the rest of her tenure, 3 or 4 years, more than double. I mean, I think last year we lost maybe 12 games to injury and illness, being 17, 18. The year before that, it was, around that number, 9 or 10. So, yes, and then we also had predominantly freshmen. So, I think both of those were contributing factors. But we also we showed a pattern of basically folding in the second half a lot too often. And even though we had injury, illness, and lack of depth in freshmen, the thing that I'm fearful of, was that propensity we had to lose second half leads, was that because of those factors, or is that in our DNA? I hope it's not in our DNA. I hope that the pattern of giving up second half leads that we had, certainly that second semester, I hope that was due to inexperience and lack of depth and not just something in our DNA.
In a season where Coach Legursky over at UW won his 300th basketball game, and for you in your 12th season at LCCC, you won your 200th game against, was it Western Nebraska Community College?
In
a very exciting game where Tyrese hit that trifecta right there to win it, and then steals the pass. Mm-hmm. And that was a nice culmination for Win 200. But again, I know it's things for the media to talk about, but inside, Coach, you've been there. Longevity is also a good thing as well. But here you are. Every win now just takes you one step further up the ladder. But your thoughts on getting that 200th win back in January?
Yeah, it's a nice round number. It's a nice round number. I'll think about that, I guess, maybe when my career is over and done. I've seen there's not a huge long list of head coaches at LCCC, so I think there's 5 of us or something like that.
Oh, you're number 2 behind Woody Halverson.
And then there's maybe there's only 4 head coaches one day. I think I'm the 4th, and that's maybe all we've had. So But I do know that I got a chance to catch up to Coach Halverson at some point here in the near future in total number of wins. I'm not sure exactly where he's at, but he won somewhere in that
It was about 367.
Something
so
like
you got
that.
about 8 more years to go.
Something. I think I got a chance to catch him, but I don't really think about that a whole lot. You just at the start of every year, I have to submit to the NJCA. There's a questionnaire, and you have to submit your coaching record overall and at your current school. So once a year in the fall, I have to update my records and submit it to the NJCA for the NJCA yearbook, and that's really the only time of the year that I know where those things.
You focus on that,
but you look at all the wins that you had. Is there one that actually just? Oh, wow, I've got 208 wins. You go, oh, I remember win number 4 or something like that. Does that one win ever stick out in your mind?
The only win that sticks out really most in my mind, honestly, is number 1. I have a ball on a pedestal in my office behind my desk, and it was from my first victory as a collegiate head coach. I gave that ball to my mother after the game, and then when she passed away, she had it on her mantle. When she passed away, I took it back. So that is the win. It was over Western Wyoming, 82-62.
You'll give us the stat sheet as well on that one.
Well, I also have a plaque that commemorates that win, so that's how I can remember the date, the time, and the score. But John Woods was the coach, I believe, at Western Wyoming at the time. That's not on the plaque, so that's what I do remember. So that's a significant one. I couldn't tell you what win number 100 was. I couldn't tell you what. I only remember win number 200 because it just happened a couple months ago. So. But there's been a lot of big wins and, a lot of disappointing losses, and that's part of it.
Well, we need to make sure we get you a game ball once you finally defeat Gillette. I think that's the only team in Region 9 you have yet to defeat.
We've got to get that monkey off our back. There was a while there where we a stretch of maybe 4 years and 8 or 9 tries where we could not beat Northeastern Colorado. And it didn't matter what we did. One time we had a 20-plus point lead midway through the second half at their place and lost. And we got that monkey off our back a few years ago, and now we have our level of success against them. But, Gillette. We haven't beat them in my 10. Well, we've never beat Gillette because Gillette has only had a program 8 or 9 years, whatever it is, and we've never.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say that leads into at least my question for you, coaches. Focusing on 2019-2020 this season, where again we're going to have that freshman they learned, they grew into what was last season. Into going to be a year older, year wiser, hopefully a year bigger as well, heading into Region 9 North play and also to just the non-conference schedule as well, but. You look at this team, you look at the changing of the guard, so to speak, of Region 9, especially here in the North, where some of those top 25 programs, Casper, we saw a lot of those players so far. They're signing their national, at least letters to commit wherever outside of Casper. Sheridan's losing a lot of players. Sheridan also, too, lost their head coach, Matt Hammer, down to CSU Pueblo. I mean, right now for Region 9 North, at least we'll keep it general of Region 9 for both North and South. Do we see kind of a changing of the guard, something where for you, at least you feel comfortable as a head coach with LCCC having a lot of sophomores on this team, that LCCC could do some damage next year?
Well, I think so. Based on the experience factor, we should be a lot better, and we should be, like I said, we return our top 5 scorers, and then we one of what I think is one of our best players, Anthony Munson, was sat out all last year. So I think we have a really good returning core. You talk about Casper losing a lot, Sheridan losing a lot, plus their coach. But those are programs that are historically have been able to reload. So some of the other programs have, it's harder for them to reload. But Casper, Sheridan, Gillette have shown a pretty good pattern of being able to reload. Eastern Wyoming is definitely on on the up and coming side. He did a really good job this year, and if he upgrades their talent a little bit, then they'll be really, really tough to beat because they really played well. And Western Wyoming and 4 of these schools have first-year coaches this year, so I think Northwest is going to have a new coach again this year. I don't know if they retain that guy, or I think it was a 1-year deal.
There was a lot of movement in Region 9.
It was a 1-year deal.
Yeah, 1 year.
Let me ask you this question, and we completed our second year with LCCC basketball, and I was thinking back when you mentioned that David is being looked at, and again, deservedly so at 7 foot. But I was also thinking of a couple of kids that you lost last year that went on to, I would hope, bigger and better things. One was Zaire Mateen, also Solomon Ilumade, and then of course he aged out, so to speak, Landon Talaferro, and then I know that Elijah Oliver got hurt down at CSU Pueblo. But do you keep in touch with those guys as well too?
Yeah.
And keep an eye on their career as well.
Yeah, no, I follow all of them pretty closely. Zaire didn't play quite as much as he wanted to, but the guy the point guard that Northern Illinois had, he's a borderline NBA guy. I think he flirted with entering the draft a year ago. So, he played behind a really good player. I think Zaire will be able to help them for the next 2 years. I think he'll see pretty consistent minutes for the next couple seasons. Landon had a good year. He did what he does. He shot a lot of threes. I think he was one of the better three-point shooters in Division I this year. But they had a coaching change.
Yeah,
so
they got to do with
a new coach. Yep. Elijah was just in our gym. I just saw him an hour ago. He's getting back to full speed with his knee surgery, and he's going to be looking for somewhere to go next year because I think he'll be 100%. So we're working on getting him re-recruited. It's a little bit tougher when you're been sitting out. There's not anything recent for anybody to look at. So, but I'm pretty sure based on what he did for us for a couple seasons, we can get Elijah back out. Solomon Iluyamade is at Maine. He didn't play quite as much, but he's got 2 more years of eligibility. Both him and Zaire were qualifiers with 3 years to play. So I think both of the situations they walked into was more, we're looking at you for years 2 and 3 here. So Kyle Wright had a really solid season at a Division II. He's at Ouachita Baptist in Arkansas. Overall, we had, I think, 13 guys out there playing Division I to Division II basketball. There's a couple of those kids that didn't play all year because of injury. Harrison Meads didn't play this year at Pepperdine. He's had too many concussions, so he stayed there and finished and graduated. And then I know that Michael Ubendu's at Howard, and he had some heart issues and didn't play this year. So I think he's healthy overall, but he's probably doesn't need to be playing competitive athletics anymore. So, social media helps with that too.
Yeah, keeping up with all that.
You get a chance to.
A lot of Facebook friends.
It would also too, but you get a chance to reflect back again. And I was kidding about the wins and stuff, but you get a chance to reflect back, and all of these kids had some type of impact on your basketball program.
Yeah, definitely. And I just last month I went out and had a couple adult beverages with a former player from Fort Collins, Mike Dermody. So it's nice now these guys are adults, and you can connect with them later in life, and they're starting to have kids and careers, and you feel like now it's not I'm the coach, you're the player. Now we're friends and peers. So the relationship morphs over the years. I follow Deontay Claiborne's a kid that played for us the first 2 years we were here. I basically brought him with me from Huntsville, Alabama. Was very close to where I was coaching before I was here. And, he just got a promotion in the Army. I think he's been in there about 8-9 years now, doing really well. And so, I follow his career in the Army. Brett Barnes, who played for us. Brett's from Cheyenne. He's up in Walla Walla, Washington, kind of my old, where I'm from. He just opened a retro, I don't know what's the word, a sneaker store, like retro basketball shoes store. And he's also a pharmacist. And you got Andy Bailey here in town, who's now a lawyer, has a family. And Andy's doing great things with writing and professional basketball. I know that's he wants to actually get into, the management of professional basketball. But to see what all these guys are doing now, Andy, I think he's been writing for Bleacher Report. He was on one of the national ESPN shows the other day, just a week ago. I think he was on the Will Kane show. That says
not
something.
too bad. You also too spotlight as well, one former product as well that we've had on the show as well, who's doing kind of special things here with basketball, is one Terrence Dent as well too, of what he's doing with the Wyoming Beasts. So.
Yeah. Well, and he mentions that he can go out and have an adult beverage. I'm seeing second generation kids now that I'm calling doing once in a while when I step back to the high school ranks.
Some of this stuff is just hilarious to see. Bryce Velasquez is a kid from Colorado Springs that played for us, and Bryce was a challenge to coach. He was a cocky little kid, and he was a challenge. And now he's doing some coaching and personal training down in Colorado Springs. And now he's so apologetic. He's like, Coach, I know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I was a jerk. I was hard to coach. He said, but these kids today, And so to see that stuff come full circle with some of these players is, you can see it right now. It puts a smile on my face. So it's great to follow these guys and not only when they're playing in college, but we guys. I just tweeted a video of Rodrigo Silva, a kid that we had several years back from Brazil. He's playing professionally in Brazil now, and nailed a 3-pointer to win a game. And it's a pretty high level league. He's doing great.
Before we let you go, too, I'd be remiss. We got something coming up here, a couple of months out. It will be here before you know it. Your special basketball camp.
we have a basketball camp coming up. Wow, and off the top of my head, it's in late June.
I was going to say, the paperwork's over there somewhere if you want to.
I think it's like the 27th through the 29th. Does that sound right?
Yes, something like that. No, 24 through 27, I think.
All information is on
go back there and look for
I'm
it.
a bad promoter. Anyways, you can go to our website, golccc.com, click on basketball or camps, and then find basketball camp. Also, if you want to see our team, we're going to be out there. We have a few different community service projects next week. I know we're going to be referencing some games at the Special Olympics at South High next Friday. We're also there's a 3-on-3 tournament, the Beast Foundation, next Saturday that we're going to be doing some refereeing there. So, our guys will be out on the town here next week especially, and I think we have another event planned next week. Wow, I'm a bad promoter. I can't remember all the things.
You got so much going on, you can't even remember everything again.
Well,
keep them busy in the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining us here. Always a pleasure talking with you, and we'll keep in touch throughout the summer months as well. Jason Ficca, head coach, LCCC, join us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Take our last time out. We'll be right back. Join in for a festive evening of fun, food, and a live auction in Cheyenne on Monday, May 6th at the historic Little Bear Inn, which is sponsoring the Love Never Forgets Gala to benefit the Wyoming chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. The event is being held to support the services provided on behalf of the nearly 30,000 Wyomingites affected by this relentless form of dementia. For more information, call the Alzheimer's chapter at 316-2892. That's 316-2892. Or visit First Tier Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue for your tickets. Remember, at First Tier Bank, you'll find the best rate on a 27-month CD with a 3.10% annual percentage yield.
Is excess weight affecting your health? Have you decided to do something about it? The Weight Management Program at Consultants in Surgery at Cheyenne Regional Medical Group can help improve the health and well-being of people who are overweight and struggling with diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and sleep apnea. Why wait? The time is now. To see if weight loss surgery is right for you, call 307-632-1114 or visit CheyenneRegional.org/weight-loss.
Did you know that in rural areas of Laramie County, electricity is reliable and affordable because of High West Energy? Based in Pine Bluffs, High West Energy is an electric co-op owned by the 10,000 customers we serve, and that includes F.U. Warren Air Force Base and 20 subdivisions around Cheyenne. For more than 75 years, High West has been proud to play a part in the steady growth and economic development of this region while also contributing to local nonprofits, charities, and civic organizations. Right now, it's time to head over to Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service for low prices on outstanding RVs in Wyoming. Your local, exclusive Jayco dealer wants you to check out their closeout deals as well as their 2019 inventory of trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers. You can save up to 30% on select models with approved credit. You can find them at 6102 East Highway 30. Jolly Rogers RV Sales, Parts, and Service is a proud sponsor of LCCC men's and women's basketball, also our local high school teams too. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range. In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 56 and winds out of the north at 20 to 30 miles per hour. If it's tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 33 and winds out of the north at 15 to 20 miles per hour. On Thursday, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 56. And on Thursday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 36.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Once again, a big thank you to our special guests that we had today. First, we had Alan Edwards via phone, live from Laramie, signing day today, the head coach of the University of Wyoming Cowboys. And keeping it on the basketball coach guy's side, we had Jason Ficca from LCCC talking with us. Again, giving us an update of where things are with the program right now as far as recruits. And again, sounds like where we had fun calling the games this year, looks like this could be, a loaded for bear team coming up in the 1920 season.
No, it's definitely going to be fun to watch for LCCC Golden Eagles. But, again, as we focus on the men, as I mentioned, for tomorrow's show, again, we will talk with Coach Brian Ortmeyer, the Lady Golden Eagles, again, get his thoughts on recruiting and everything else as well around Region 9. So, again, we will keep it even and get him in the studio as well, too, coming up tomorrow. But right now, what I want to do is we had another ticket giveaway contest, as we haven't had one in quite some time, as now we're getting into local sports, or at least local baseball here in the city of Cheyenne. What we have done, or at least what I did, is set up a little contest for today on our Facebook side, which you can find by, at least for the show, of simply searching for Wyoming Sports Talk Today, or it's facebook.com/WYO Sports Talk. I have a pair of tickets to go see admission to a Cheyenne Mustangs baseball game coming up this weekend, at least this Saturday, 1 and 3 o'clock doubleheader as they host Casper Crush, as they will be in town. This game, at least those games, will be happening over at Pioneer Park. So I also, too, on top of the pair of tickets, give away some goodies to go see our friends over at Chick-fil-A at the corner of Del Range and Windmill. Taking a look, it's a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is what these are good for. Again, a free chicken biscuit over there at Chick-fil-A. So congratulations, at least, again, picked our winner earlier. Again, congratulations to Josh Ahrens. I hope I'm saying that right. Josh Ahrens, Ahrens. Congratulations, you are the winner of our pair of tickets to go see the Cheyenne Mustangs, some baseball, as both Mustangs and Post 6 in action this weekend here in town.
Ahrens or Ahrens?
Either way, again, hopefully I'm not saying that incorrectly. Either way, though, at least on Facebook, Josh, I'll message you as I've done others for Cowboy football, basketball, Giant Stampede tickets. Again, I just message you on Facebook of how you come by, pick up your tickets, and go see some Cheyenne Mustangs baseball this weekend, at least this Saturday. Again, doubleheader coming up at 1 and 3 o'clock over at Pioneer Park. The Mustangs taking on the Casper Crush.
We keep it in a baseball note. Oh, by the way, and congratulations again to Jason for winning those tickets.
How about Josh?
Josh, excuse me.
There you go.
I had Jason Ficca on my mind. Let's talk baseball, where the Rockies.
I'm surprised we don't keep it on basketball side because there was something else big that happened last night.
All right, we'll get back to basketball just real quick here. Rockies have the day off after making it 3 in a row, beat the Padres,
Go
2
figure.
straight. Nolan Arenado on his 28th birthday yesterday, going yard. He's hit a home run in the last 3 games. Have the Rockies straighten themselves out?
We'll see.
Don't know.
It's certainly a positive that you want to see out of the Rockies, where, yes, it is a slow trend away from that 8-game losing streak and being the most pathetic team to start out the gates in all of MLB, but it is something for the Rockies. Yes, you are moving in a good direction right now, and again, you got it done against the Padres.
The needle, right?
You did it against a very good Padres team who was, at a point in time, again, had the best record in all of the National League. So what a team to do it against. Again, rebound. But will this carry over? Again, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
this is a Rockies team that is, again, struggled out of the gates at home, is 0-5 at Coors Field. So we'll see, if fortunes change for this team.
Aside from the snow out that they had against the Braves, this is their first day off. So, and they're going to come back and they're going to try to ramp it up against the Phillies. So we'll see, we'll see how good the Rockies are.
Phillies were leading the NL East.
And the Rockies have yet to win at Coors Field. All right, You said something about basketball. Let's talk about basketball. What do you got?
Well, how about what happened in the NBA last night? Are you going to forget about that? Where the Nuggets?
I know the Nuggets won.
They came from behind. There was a point where it looked like the Spurs were going to win.
And the guy I said get the ball out of his hands. He's the one who makes me look stupid.
Well, Murray, he didn't deserve to have the basketball in his hands for a good amount of, at least of that contest, where he was pretty rough going. I think 2 points, or it was something low like that, where he had just tough time throughout majority of that contest. And
then he woke up.
At least he woke up, got a fire underneath him, and led this Nuggets team to get the 2-1 at least series, or at least 1-1 tie
as they go down.
As they go back to San Antonio. So the Nuggets pulling off, getting the victory last night there at the Pepsi Center. Again, it looked like for majority of that contest, Spurs were in control.
Right.
It wasn't anything out of hand for the Denver Nuggets, but it looked like the Spurs, again, were going to pull off that close victory in Denver.
But also, too, Millsap showed up. Like I said, he had 20 points last night. Jokic, another day at the office. He had 21 points again. Put the ball in his hand. He gave you a double-double last night. And it was good to see Gary Harris score. He had 23 points last night. So the Nuggets in the can last night, as you mentioned, rallied to beat San Antonio, send that series back to the AT&T Center all night at one of these. If
you're a Nuggets fan, though, seeing that win last night, you kind of breathe a sigh of relief instead of being down 0-2, now heading back to their territory, instead now tied up with it. Hey, you got the one. There still is worrying things about this Nuggets team where, like I said, majority of that contest was owned by the Spurs. The Spurs kind of let that one go where they left their eye. Again, Murray got hot, but the Spurs, they should have won that game.
But the problem with the Spurs has been their problem all season long, and I'm sure that they would be the first to admit it. They don't have that strong of a bench.
No, the bench.
They don't have a guy who could fire it up real quick.
Well, and again, whether that's Patty Mills and also to Rudy Gay, you're certainly looking for some quality minutes out of them, but they're not giving it to you. Yeah, you're relying too much on DeRozan. You're relying too much on LaMarcus Aldridge.
Because you don't have like a Ginobili coming off the bench anymore for you that could spark you. And again, if you get into their bench,
that's supposed to be Rudy Gay, but he's not doing that right now. He sparked up there in game one, but definitely fell flat, coming away with only 5 points in 28 minutes there in last night's game. So they're trying to do it. Same with Patty Mills. Patty Mills, he can be that sixth man. He can be that for Popovich. He knows how to play under that system. But again, he had a rough go of it in 20 minutes, only equating to 5 points as well. So bench was a big issue for the Spurs. In my opinion, did it cost them the game? kind of yes and a no. It was just more so the Spurs. I think defense kind of collapsed a little bit again, where Murray took advantage of that, got hot there at the tail end, came back, and the Nuggets eventually won that contest.
But again, like I said, after game one, the table setters, Jokic, along with Millsap, had to show up, and they did last night. And that's one of the main
Well, they need to show up for the remaining games.
Oh, absolutely. And again,
because this is not over. Again, you got the win, but right now for the Nuggets, you still need to play a lot more basketball.
I think if anybody's going to be foolish on this one, this series is going to go at least 6-7 games. There's no doubt about it. Who wins it, that's still up for grabs as well.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wrap things up here on this one.